Today we're going to be working with Unit 5, Distribution of Data. So start off with changing the title up here to Distribution of Data. We have some vocabulary words, so look at your vocabulary sheet for the definition of each of these words. We will be using them throughout the lesson, and they will be in your homework, so you want to make sure you have the definition that goes with each of the words. So let's start off with shapes of distribution. So analyzing the shapes of a distribution can help you learn a lot about the data it represents. When data are graphed, the shape of distribution can be seen. So we have three different types of graphs that we've been working with. The first one is a histogram, the second one is a box plot, and the third one is a dot plot. So when it is symmetric, that means that what we have on the left is very similar to what we have on the right. So think about symmetry that we dealt with before when we were looking at graph symmetry. It's like a mirror version of each other. The other one we have is negatively skewed. That's where the data tends to be more on the negative side, the left side of our graph. And then the third one we have is positively skewed distribution, where it tends to be more on the right side of our graph. So again, we have negative skewed, symmetric, and positive skewed. So we can use the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary is what we get from our box plot. That's where you have the min, you have the first quartile, quartile number 2, which is your median, quartile number 3, and then you have your max. So let's take a look at example 1, analyzing. So what we want to do is I'm going to make a rough sketch of this. Normally you would sketch out the whole thing, but time permitting, I don't have time to build the full thing. So I'm just going to do a rough sketch. So our histogram looks something like this. And then our box plot, again, another rough sketch. Because it asks for both a box plot and a histogram. And we're going to analyze this. So the histogram is higher on the right, and has a tail on the left. Therefore, the distribution is negatively skewed. For the box and whiskers plot or the box plot, the left whisker is larger or longer than the right, and the median is closer to the shorter side. Therefore, the distribution is negatively skewed. So for both of these, we get the same result because it is from the same amount of data. Let's take a look at example 2. So example 2, again, I'm going to rough sketch out the histogram. For the classwork, you're going to fully do out the histogram. But for the matter of time, I don't want to make the video an hour long. So here's my histogram roughly after I put my numbers in order from least to greatest. So the graph shows frequencies of data in the middle is high, while left and right are low, so symmetric. And if you look at it, you could basically cut this data in half, and the left side looks pretty much like the right side. If I was to take the mean of this data, it's about 16.4. And if I was to take the standard deviation, I get 7.0, about. Let's take a look at example 3. So this one was just a histogram. Example 3, we're going to make a box plot. So again, I'm going to rough sketch out my box plot. And the right whisker is longer or larger than the left. And median is closer to the right. So distribution is positively skewed. And then let's go ahead and take a look at our next idea. So our next idea is dealing with extremas. The least and greatest value in a set of data are called extrema values. An outlier is a value that is more than 1.5 times the inner quartile range, above the third quartile, or below the first quartile. So outliers can significantly skew the mean and standard deviation. So let's take a look at this example right here. So I have all these numbers. So from these, I'm going to go ahead and generate the mean. So again, I'm going to add all these numbers up and then divide by the total. And so that gives me 13.82. My median, my middle number, after I put them in order, is 12. My smallest number, so my min number, is 0.6. My biggest number, my max number, is 46. Now my lower quartile, so my quartile 1, that's going to be 5.85. And my quartile 3 is going to be 19. Now if you can look at this, that 46, that is bigger than 1.5 times 19. Because if we were to double 19, that give us 38. And 46 is way out there outside of 38. So from this information, the right whisker is going to be larger than the left. So it will be positively skewed. And as I was talking about with the 46, since 46 is an outlier, it affects the mean. So let's ignore it. If we ignore it, we get a mean of about 12.12. Our median is still the same at still 12. So by ignoring it, our mean is closer to the median. So with this, you're going to be building histograms, you're going to be building box graphs, and you're going to be building line graphs. So you only have one problem of each of these examples because it will take some time. So go ahead, write a summary of everything that we covered today: positive skew, negative skew, symmetric, and then use these notes to help you solve out the problems.